have learned all about fish habitat, life in freshwater, changes in environment, fish adaptations, and the salmon life cycle. So now we are ready to learn about all of these things combined. Are you ready to get ready? When you first got your salmon eggs and placed them in the tank, chances are your tank did not have any gravel. Is this similar to how it would be in the wild? No. In the wild, salmon eggs would be in the gravel in something that is called a redd. When the salmon have completed their ocean migration, they begin to make their way back to the same rivers in which they were born to spawn. Once they get back to the river, they begin to look for suitable spots to lay their eggs. Atlantic salmon are very specific when it comes to where they want to lay their eggs. Atlantic salmon will not lay their eggs in mud or on plants or on bedrock or in very deep water. They will only lay their eggs in gravel. During fall, every year, the river bottom is transformed into a safe haven for millions of eggs as they incubate in their rocky nest for several months. Yes, we are talking about salmon eggs. Salmon will find beautiful gravel to make their nest, which is called a redd. The word redd is Scottish, meaning to make clean or tidy. Salmon use their tail to kick up the rocks, creating a pit in the stream bed and allowing the current to deposit the misplaced rocks in a pile just downstream. When they use their tail like this, they are removing the algae and scum off the rocks, making them look bright and clean. Redds are usually 1 to 2 meters in diameter and roughly rounded. Once the pit has been made into the gravel, the female salmon will lay their eggs and they'll be fertilized by the male. Then the salmon will cover the eggs with more gravel. Redds are usually found at the tail of pools on the upstream sides of riffles, with relatively high water speeds and water depths of 15 to 70 centimeters. Do you remember what we learned about dissolved oxygen? Well, the eggs need oxygen too. That's why they're laid in gravel and not mud. Gravel lets oxygen access the egg and the flowing water keeps the eggs well oxygenated. Let's think back to when your eggs first arrived and you put them in your tank. Did your tank have gravel in it? Is that similar to the wild habitat? Not really. This is why we're going to give every class gravel to put in their tanks for next year. Adding gravel to your tank also gives the young salmon a dark place to hide. This is what they'll be doing in the wild, and we want them to experience as close to a wild experience as they can in your classroom. When you're walking in the river in the fall, always be careful to watch your step. This is why you should never drive your car, truck, or ATV through the river, because it might be destroying salmon redds and killing the next generation of Atlantic salmon eggs. Redds are also important because they help protect the eggs from predators. Many other fish and birds would love to snack on salmon eggs if they had the chance. Like most babies in the wild, young feel more protected when they're in a nest, which keeps them safe from predators. Hi guys, welcome to our activity on redds. So today we're going to be making a model to show how redds really protect eggs in their nest. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a bucket that you can fill with some water. I chose the shallow one here, but any will really do. You're going to need a basket or a box or something that you can use to put this at an angle at the right time. You will need some barbecue skewers, and this is because we're going to pretend like we're birds after. So this is for that. You will need some modeling clay or some clay to represent redds. I have taken the color red out of it and made little balls to represent the redds, but you guys can choose whatever color works for you. You'll also need some gravel, if you can see, just some little rocks. And you'll need a watering can as well. So now, with our unprotected salmon eggs, and some of them, like all of them, might fall, and that's okay. So already some of them in the stream, even without the water flowing too quick, still fall to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after those 10 seconds, all but 3 of my eggs have gone to the very bottom. So now, acting like a bird for 10 seconds, I'm going to see how many eggs I can get using my beak. So with my beak, I was able to pick up 4 salmon eggs from the unprotected redd. Okay, so now it's time for round 2. So this time we are going to take some of this here, the gravel, and you're going to make a little nest just on one side. And I kind of keep a little open in the center. And we're going to dump our salmon eggs in the middle. Show you guys again there. And now we're going to take a little bit more gravel and we're going to pour it over top. So that it hides the eggs, like salmon do. So now we're going to take this again and we're going to place this as an angle very carefully. And now we're going to pour more water, also for 10 seconds. So that time there, no breads came to the bottom. There's just a couple of rocks. So now, with another 10-minute timer, you're gonna take 2 little skewers and see as many eggs as you can get in 10 seconds. So as a bird, I was able to get 4 eggs that were protected by the red. Now it's your turn to try in your class and see if you can figure out which way is best to protect the eggs. There's also a sheet where you can write down all your observations so you can keep track of your notes. Let's move on to the next lesson about sustainability.